Hey you guys, so I am here on a layover and we don't have a lot of time in the city, so I thought I would make the most use of my time and put together a vlog to answer some questions that you guys have had. So since I made the transition from a commercial flight attendant to a corporate flight attendant, something that I have been asked about a lot is how I meal plan for my passengers on board. If you're not familiar with the corporate side of flight attending, one major difference from the commercial side is that we prepare all of the meals for our passengers. So we can do that through cooking ourselves, going to a restaurant and picking up food, or we can order catering and have it delivered to the airport. So it's very flexible. We basically have the say in how it's gonna go, and I just want to tell you how I organize or how I come up with new ideas and what has worked the best for me. So the easiest and the most obvious way to plan what you're gonna serve on a flight is simply to ask the passenger who you're flying. Now, sometimes that can backfire and you can be sent on a wild goose chase, so think very carefully if you want to go that route. But it wouldn't hurt if you're on a multi-day trip when the passenger is deplaning to say, hey, do you have anything specifically that you want me to serve for breakfast, lunch, or dinner tomorrow? Any special items? What can I have on board for you? It's a nice way to make sure the passenger gets exactly what they like. It's also a nice way to make sure that you don't have to do too much thinking. But again, you could be sent on a crazy scavenger hunt. Another way that I know what I'm gonna serve on board the aircraft is I came up with a passenger preference spreadsheet that I try to send out before the flights if it's somebody new that I'm flying. If it's someone who I have flown for before, I save the passenger preference spreadsheet so I can quickly reference it and know what they like. So on this spreadsheet, I tried to document if there are food allergies, if there are certain foods that they just simply don't like. I ask what their favorite foods are, what their favorite meals are, what their favorite desserts are, favorite drinks. Basically, I want to know everything that my passenger loves. I also want to know, again, if they have any allergies to anything and if there's something that I should not be serving on the airplane. So I can print up a copy and hold it up to you and show you what those look like. Also, if you want a quick and easy reference, I got this idea from watching Below Deck on Bravo. Whenever the captain meets with the lead stew and the chef, they kind of go over the passenger preference sheets, and I thought, what a good idea. I need to start including those when I do my pre-trip planning. So a passenger preference spreadsheet goes a very long way. It takes out a lot of the guesswork, and you're not going to accidentally serve something that your passengers could be allergic to. A third way that I came up with meal ideas, and I don't suggest this unless you are very comfortable in the kitchen and you have a cooking background or you have a plan B, but something else that I do is try a new meal. I love cooking, I love being adventurous in the kitchen, I love trying new things, new techniques, and so that's what I'll do. I'll have a flight and I'll think, hey, I've never made this before and I've always wanted to try it, so I'll make it at home. Again, always have a backup because first-time recipes don't always go as planned. And if you're not confident in your food, your passengers will for sure know. And a little tip, if the food looks pretty, it's gonna taste like 25% better. It's just science. So always plate your food nice. Something that I swear by, whether I cook on my own or order catering or pick up food from a restaurant, I always have extra garnish. So parsley, edible flowers bring a ton of color, even vegetables. You can make like tomato flowers or, you know, however creative you want to get with things. Always having fresh garnish will also make your plate look a million times better. Okay, for the type A in you, which I for sure am a type A, I have a planner. And in my planner, I keep track of food that I have served. So I'll write down either the passenger name or the tail number of the plane that I'm working on and what I served in that meal. So I can scroll back through my planner 6 months ago and tell you exactly what I served on exactly what date. I can also take notes. Was it a hit? Was it a miss? How did the presentation look? Was it easy to prepare on an airplane? Because we don't have a lot of space in those galleys. Sometimes you have to get very creative. If you have a full flight, you're not gonna wanna have a very intricate meal. You're gonna wanna have a presentable meal, but you're gonna wanna have a simple meal. So I put everything in my planner, and I can always use that as a quick reference. So lately I've been a big fan of actually using local restaurants in layover cities that I'm at and picking up food and serving that to my passengers. Like I said, I always stop at like a Trader Joe's or a Publix or Stop and Shop, and I have extra fresh garnish just to fancy it up a little bit. But something that I like about when I go to these restaurants is that you're getting local cuisine and it's not often repeated. So don't go to Chili's every time you have a trip. Go to a smaller restaurant, a local restaurant, try the cuisine, serve the cuisine. That's always a great personal added touch for your passengers. Something to keep in mind when you are serving food, are you doing a 5-course dinner service, or are you doing a more casual dinner service? So always think about the time of the day and the length of the flight and whether or not you have time to serve dinner rolls separate from salad, separate from a starter, separate from the main course, separate from dessert. Of course, you're not going to bring out a piece of chocolate cake and a steak at the same time. You're going to keep that separate, but could you throw in lobster on top of the steak and make it a surf and turf? So instead of doing like a seafood appetizer and a steak main course, do you see where I'm going with this? Is it helpful? So yes, when it comes to meal planning, obviously a very important thing to keep in mind is the length of the flight. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to put out everything. You can put a dinner roll with your steak, with a side. It's gonna be a great meal. You can bring out the salad separately from that. What I'm trying to say is make sure you have enough time to plan so your galley is not total chaos, so you're not scrambling for the last 2 minutes of the flight trying to collect all the dishes and put the trays down and put the silverware in the bin so you can wash it later. Time management, people. It's important everywhere. Well, you guys, those are the main things that I focus on before I get on a plane and start serving my meals. Those are the things I focus on before I leave my house and start my trip. Those are the things I focus on like now when I'm in a hotel room and I have a meal service tomorrow. So I am going to start planning for my meal service tomorrow. My passenger load is very light. Me and the pilots are actually about to go to dinner, so I am just going to pick up an extra entree and serve that on the flight tomorrow. I hope you guys found this video to be informative. I hope you find it helpful. If you guys have tips, please do share them with me. I'm still trying to figure out this whole thing. If you guys have any other questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns, of course, post them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you again for coming by, guys.